All right. Well, I'm excited. I've got from Kauai, Crown and Field Advisory Board member Skylar Mallas. Welcome, Skylar.
Hey David, how are you doing today?
Fantastic. Well, this is a great subject because it's all about yourself, telling your story, sharing your excitement and enthusiasm for the product and the business. So, what makes a great story? Let's start there.
Great. Well, what I think makes a great story kind of breaks down into five key elements. I think the first thing is having a powerful statement that you're really going to grab the audience with, letting them know, I haven't slept in what feels like a year, or I felt like I was going to die, or I had lost all hope, or I couldn't even look in the mirror at myself in the morning. So there's that piece of you're making a powerful statement where you're grabbing the audience's attention and you're being vulnerable and you're being real. Because in today's society, it's on social media, especially, it's all about Photoshop and looking as good as possible. And there's not that much authenticity out there in social media. And I think people really appreciate that. And because people do have a short attention span nowadays, you really want to grab them in that first sentence. So they're going to lean in and want to hear more. The second piece is really going into your challenge. And again, the key is being authentic, being real, letting people know what it is that you were struggling with, what it is that you are struggling with currently, and then what your outlook is or what your vision is on how you're going to what you're going to attain, how you want to gain the freedom, how you're going to feel better, because people are going to be inspired by your vision. And then your journey in it, whether if we're talking about Purium products, what you did specifically that helped you. So I embarked on a 40-day health transformation to help me to reset my metabolism so I could finally feel better in my body, and talk about your journey in that way. And then the last piece of the story would be the invitation, where you're allowing people, can you relate to this? Is this something that you're also struggling with in your life? And sort of asking the question for engagement. And this would be more based on a social media story if you're doing something on social media. And I think that having those five key things, and not making it too long, is going to be a powerful way for you to craft your story and go off of that foundation.
Well, I love the specifics and I love that big entry and then kind of this authentic journey. That's a great structure for telling a story. So you mentioned product stories. Certainly most people have tried the products. If they're watching this video, oftentimes are in the process of creating that great product story because of the results that they're getting, the benefits they're seeing and feeling. How do you express a product story? Maybe use some specific examples of you and your life, because I know that there's been some great things that have happened to you and your family as these products have touched your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm happy to share a little bit about you with you about my story personally. Purium came into our life when my daughter was really struggling with her health, and she was about 50 pounds overweight. She was having skin rashes all over her body. She was borderline clinically depressed. She was socially outcasted, and she had reached a breaking point. And it's really hard to see our children suffering so much. And as a mother, I thought I had the tools to help her, but clearly what I had she wasn't ready for it. And on her 15th birthday, she came to me asking for help. And she had reached that breaking point. And that's sometimes what it takes for somebody to be brave enough to ask for help, or to see that, they need a way out. They need assistance. And at that same time when my daughter was asking for help, I had Purium on my periphery. So a good friend of mine was using the products, and I was able to witness her transformation. And so we reached out, and asked her, tell us a little bit more about this Purium thing. And so we took the leap. We took the leap of faith, and we ordered the 40-day reset for both of us. And I decided, I'm going to do this with her. I'm going to support her on this journey. We're going to do this together. And it was a really incredible bonding experience, and it was really challenging. But we did it. We dove in, and on the third day of Alea just getting those products into her body, she came home from school and she said, "Mom, I felt possibility for the first time today. I felt hopeful. And she said, I'm going to do this thing no matter how hard it is, no matter how much I don't like these shakes, I'm going to do this thing. And, you know, her will to survive and to thrive was bigger than the obstacle at that point. And so that was really heartwarming for me. And she was actually my rock doing this during this transformation. And so we continued on, and she finished the first 10-day portion. She lost 10 pounds. Then the second 10-day portion, she lost another 14 pounds doing the accelerated version. And then we stayed on the products through the summer. She lost a total of 30 pounds, and she went back to school a new woman. All of her rashes cleared up. Her skin was glowing. She started to be athletic. She was excited to go outside because before, when she would go and try to be active, her legs would rub together and she would get rashes and she felt physically uncomfortable and she just dreaded it. She just wanted to lock herself in her room, but she started to feel better. And through ingesting these superfoods, she was like inspired and she wanted to go out and be active. And so she would go hiking after school or take the dogs for a walk or go to the beach. She started school that year. She got on high honors. She was class president. She was dancing hula. She was playing sports, and she was just so happy and vital. She picked up yoga, and that's really where she found her passion. And through the course of her junior and senior year, she lost another 20 pounds. She got her yoga certification, her teacher training, and now she's at the University of San Francisco teaching yoga at the top studio there. And she's also doing really well academically and just loving the city life and really inspired to help support other people that are suffering and sharing her message with other girls that are also struggling with eating disorders or self-image. So it's really come full circle for her, and it's been a really beautiful journey to be her mother and to witness this evolution. And I wonder, you know, I really hate to think what would have happened if Purium hadn't come into our life. So it really is a blessing all around.
Wow, what an inspiring story. And I love the emotion behind it and the vulnerability and how that has changed her life in such a powerful way. So it's not about the number on the scale, it's about the impact in the life that occurred from having these social challenges to blossoming as a young woman who's really starting to follow her joy. And you attribute that to the 40-day journey that started it. So I've got a teenager, a boy, not a girl, but you know, it just totally resonated with me, even though I'm not on the exact same journey. Just because you use so many evocative words, I totally understood what the potential was for that product and that program. So fantastic example. Put you on the spot. Let's talk about business. And if you don't mind, why don't you share your business story and some of the key elements of business?
I would love to. I've also always been a self-professed entrepreneur, you know, not employable. I really had a hard time working for a boss. I've always been very independent natured. And I've been in the health and wellness industry for over 20 years. And in the service industry, I've always loved to help people. And I became a massage therapist in my early 20s and helping people with nutrition through that. Not a certified nutritionist, but somebody who's always been very devoted to health and nutrition and studied many, many different sorts of food philosophies. And I've always been inspired to share that with my clients, knowing that what we put in our body affects everything. And so I've been very passionate about that my whole life. And I've been in this, like I said, in the service industry for over 20 years, helping people heal through body work. And there came a point in my life simultaneously where Leah was going through her struggle that I was really feeling that I was at a point in my life where I wanted to be in service to the world in a bigger way, but I just didn't know how. And I felt kind of trapped to this trading my hours for dollars rhythm that I was in, and knowing that I was getting older and I had to show up to do body work to get paid. And I was feeling like, how am I going, what's going to happen in 5, 10, 15, 20 years? And how am I going to put my daughter through college? And I was just really praying for a change. And it's interesting how sometimes prayers are answered on the wings of our struggles. And through Alea's challenge came the greatest gift to me, which was Purium. Not only did it help heal my body, which is, you know, a deeper story I could share at another time as well, but it came into my life on my doorstep, and it was wrapped in this box with the Purium tape on it. And did I have any idea that it was the answer to my prayers? But it was, because through my daughter's transformation and through my transformation, I was able to realize what I had to offer the world and how I was going to be able to help empower people to heal their own bodies long term and give people the gift of accessibility to something that was going to be able to support them to empower themselves and empower their own life and health. And so I became very passionate about sharing. And when I went through my transformation and Alea had hers, I went public on Facebook. I shared my story as I shared with you guys earlier on this Zoom. And I got a lot of messages from people. People were very interested in knowing, what are you doing? You look amazing. Your daughter looks amazing. Tell me more. And so I took it off of the Facebook thread into a private message, and I started to engage with people and said, hey, I have something really powerful here that I've been looking for my entire life, and I believe it could really help you. Would you like me to send you some more information? And that's really where it started, with a simple, innocent, going public post on Facebook. And I built an organization since then, over 14,000 people, and I've been able to help a lot of people up-level their health and their finances. And I went from making, you know, what I was making a year doing massage, I'm making a month now with Purium, and I'm able to help more people faster. And the culture and the community that we've created, and be able to accelerate this mission that Dave and Amy have to help to end human suffering on all levels, because people aren't just suffering, you know, with their health, but people are struggling and suffering financially. And when we are strapped financially, it causes high stress. We can't offer our gifts and our service to the world. We're not as good parents or husbands or wives or community members, because we're so engaged in our brain and struggling on how we're going to get through the day that we almost can't see out of our own box. And so Purium offered me financial freedom. And now I'm able to, you know, travel the world. I'm able to have location and time freedom. And yes, I work hard. And yes, I have an amazing team that I love to engage with, but it's given me a new purpose and a new way to be in service to the world, which I am really eternally grateful for.
Well, you know, there's great similarities between your product story and your business story, in that it's so much bigger, so much deeper, so much more emotional than just making X amount of dollars more. So just like the weight on the scale is important, but not the story. The numbers in your bank account is important, but that's not the story, you know? And so I love how you're talking about the bigger purpose. So quickly, to wrap up here, some people don't have a business story. They're just starting out. They're watching this. They're saying, sounds great. I wish I was Skylar, but I'm not yet. So what do I do? How do I tell my story, or how do I create a compelling story? What do you recommend?
Well, for starters, I'd recommend talking with your upline, your diamonds, your crowns, and it's really okay to borrow somebody else's story while you're creating your own. And getting those people on connect calls with those people who have had more success than you, and allow them to share their story personally with them, and allow them to support those people in painting the vision of what's possible, because people are going to be attracted to the vision that we're painting. Just in our personal health story and our transformation story, like the hero's journey, the business story is the same way. And if we can paint a vision of hope and possibility, and that there is a solution that helped this person and it could also help you, that could be enough for them to lean in, to be engaged, and to be willing to take the leap.
Awesome. Well, thanks for all the great tips. Thanks for sharing in such an authentic and vulnerable way, and giving everybody a great example of product and business story. So appreciate it. Thanks, Skylar.
My pleasure. Thank you, David. Aloha.